Woo! If you guys had smell-o-vision, oh my God, it's good.
Hey, what's up? It's Vince Leo from vinceleo.com, and I'm hanging out with Norma again.
Hola otra vez.
Now, Norma, you showed us some awesome Salvadorian vegan recipes.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and link them in the description box below. But you were telling me you have a recipe for a Salvadorian quesadilla.
Yes.
That's not like any other quesadilla I've probably had.
Yes. The one you're thinking about is the Mexican one. Yeah, that one is the cheese and the tortilla. Yes. Folks, there are other countries in Latin America, but yeah, the one that we do, it's a sweet bread and it's cheesy and it has sesame seeds on top, so it's really good with a good cafecito. It's good.
Like a dessert almost.
It's a dessert, yes.
Ooh.
And veganized.
I'm intrigued. Now, if you like vegan recipes, vegan shopping, healthy hacks, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss another video. But I'm thinking right now, we gotta go make a Salvadorian quesadilla. Let's do it.
All right, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to get vanilla flavored almond milk, okay? And we are going, it's about 3 cups, and we are going to cook this until it evaporates into half a cup. So half a cup is what we're gonna use to then mix everything else. At least from what I've seen, like I haven't really found any evaporated plant-based milk, so I just thought, evaporated, I'm just going to get almond milk and evaporate it myself, and there you go. Ahí lo agarré, that's what I did. Okay, so while the milk is cooking, the next thing that you need to do is to do the egg whites. Being a vegan, how do you do that? Well, here's the secret. Aquafaba! Yay! The water from the chickpeas is pretty much how you do it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pour this into this container, get all the water out as much as you can. Every single bit of the water. And then from here, then I'm gonna get 8 tablespoons of this water, put it into this container, and then from there, we're going to whisk it until it gets fluffy white, just like the real egg whites. 8 tablespoons. 1, 2, 7, 8. You got your lesson in Spanish, yay! So there you go. So that's pretty much what we do. Then we get this and we pretty much whisk it, and we're going to basically whisk it. It's gonna take probably about 10 to 12, 15 minutes. And the key to this is pretty much as soon as it's fluffy and you turn it over and you see that it doesn't fall off, it's done. Exactly like the egg whites, how you do it. All right, so do you see how thick this is now getting? Look at this. Okay, so you gotta keep going at it until you get it completely thick and for it not to fall off of this, pan here. Okay, so let's see if it's done. Oh, you see it moving? Nope, it is not done, so we gotta do it more. There's the test. It is done, yes! Okay, ya estamos listos for the next thing. All right, so another way to also test this out, obviously doing the one where you turn it upside down, but when you put this down here, and then you pick it up, and if it has that little itty bitty point, it is done. It's done. So now, after we've done the egg whites, now we want to get the egg yolks, right? So what I use is Bob's egg replacer, and you can actually get this at like Sprouts or Whole Foods. They have it in the section where it's all the baking, and all the, flours and sugars and all that. So that's what I use. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get 8 tablespoons of water, 4 tablespoons of the egg replacer. We're going to then put it together, and then we're going to mix it until it gets a thick consistency. So pretty much just mixing it and mixing it and mixing it. And once it starts getting a little bit thicker, that's when you know that it's done. And then we will put the other 2 together, the egg whites and the egg yolks together to make 4 eggs. Sometimes it'll have clumps, and if it does, just get down and dirty with it, put your hands in there and get all those clumps out. So right now it's still, a little bit wet. So again, watery, liquidy. Again, you can kind of see, look, as you can see, it gets a little bit thicker, and that's what we want. We want it to get a little bit thicker. because again, you want to have that sort of similarity of the egg yolk. Actually, it doesn't even have clumps. It depends on like what you use, because if you say, for instance, use like a fork, then it'll probably have those, you know, lumps. But if it doesn't, just go ahead and mix it together. If it does, put your hands in there, get those clumps out. No lumps, let's go ahead and put it together. So now we have the egg whites, right? And the egg yolks, and then we just pretty much pour it in there. And then we're going to fold it in. And then go ahead and just fold it all in. The reason you really don't want to like just whisk it and, you know, put it all together, because then it's going to get more bubbles in there. So you just want to make it, fold it in so that everything gets incorporated, every single, you know, bit of the egg whites and the egg yolks. And there you go. So once this is all, you know, incorporated all together, then you just go ahead and put it off to the side, and then you go on to the next things. So once the milk has evaporated to half a cup, as you can see there, then we're gonna go ahead and put it through a strainer so that it can capture all the particles, so that we can have a smooth, milky goodness that goes into the recipe. And then we put it off to the side, let it cool down, because this is what's gonna get mixed in with the cheese, and we need for this to be cooled down. If not, it's gonna melt the cheese, and that's not what we want. So we wanna make sure that it's cooled down pretty good. So now on to the dry ingredients. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take 2 cups of rice flour, 1.5 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, beep, and then we are going to mix it all together. So incorporate every single bit. Goodness right here. Now, if you guys, you know, want it a little bit more sugary, you can put 2 cups, you know, up to you. But this is usually what it entails, and afterwards it's so good. In order to create this, you can use, you know, rice flour, any kind that you want, but this is the one that I usually use. So, and also use cane sugar. Usually I go to like a Latin market. You can find a lot of these ingredients to, you know, incorporate this, but this is the one that I use. All right, so the next thing, now that we have the dry ingredients, now we're gonna get our aquafaba egg and then put it in. And then we are going to fold it in. Make sure that you fold it in when you do this. Get every single bit of piece in there. Everything gets mixed in together. You can see that it probably has like clumps. It's perfectly fine. Just again, just continue to, you know, incorporate everything in. Because then once you start putting like the wet ingredients, you know, more of the wet ingredients, from like the cheese milk mix to the vegan butter to the sour cream, then it's gonna, you know, obviously become a lot more of a mix. And if you really want to get down dirty, you're like, spatula, oh, this takes too long of a time. Well, then you can get with your hands and go to town and incorporate everything as well. So at least in the first part, you want to just make sure that you fold it in, and then voila, I'm doing it. There you go. Getting my hands dirty now. Make sure you don't eat your hands, because then this happens and you're like, oh my God, this tastes good. Got everything in there. And now let's go ahead and do the rest. So now we're going on to the Parmesan cheese. So you want to basically use 2 cups of Parmesan cheese. Now you can also add the ricotta cheese, because that's usually what I do. They didn't have it at the store. So pretty much we're gonna just use this and then use nutritional yeast as well. So you see that it's pretty much in sort of big chunks. We don't want that. So what you do is just pretty much break it up. Break it up as much as you can. And then once it's broken up completely, then we want to add the milk, the leche de almendra, almond milk. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, as long as you can break it up as much as you can so that there's no long pieces to it. Once this is already broken up as much as we could, right? Now we get the milk, and you want to make sure that you do strain it once at least, so like that, you know, you don't have any particles, lumps, and then you just go ahead and mix it in there. And make sure also that this is cold, or at least room temperature. You don't want to make it, you know, hot, because then, you know, it's gonna melt the cheese, so we don't want that. So then now we just go ahead and mix it all together. And then this is where you can incorporate the nutritional yeast as well. Cheesy. And next, the nooch. So it's about 3 tablespoons. Go ahead and mix it in there. Again, you want to make sure that this has a very cheesy flavor. So that's the reason the ricotta cheese. That's for, you know, using the parmesan as much. Cheesy. Now this is a quesadilla, okay? A Salvi quesadilla. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna incorporate the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients together. So 1 cup of sour cream, vegan sour cream, and we put it into the dry ingredient. Mix it all together. So this doesn't matter, just pretty much go in there. So it's pretty much mixed in. Now we're gonna get the nooch and the Parmesan cheese, and we go ahead and incorporate that in there as well. Ooh, cheesy. And you go ahead and mix this together. Woo! If you guys had smell-o-vision, oh my God, it's good. Last but not least, now we got the butter, the vegan butter, and that is about 4 tablespoons of vegan butter. And usually, you know, if you want to put more vegan butter, it's up to you, less butter. Just, you know, one thing about the quesadilla, it is a moist bread. So usually when I've had the regular one before going vegan, you can feel like it sticks to the roof of your mouth. You know, that's usually how, that moist is needed in there, that moistness. So that vegan butter is what gives it that as well. Are we good? I kind of want to taste it, but maybe not. Yes. Perfecto, delicioso, les va a gustar mucho. Oh my God. So now that we have all the wet ingredients and dry ingredients together, now we're gonna get, this pan is about 3 by 19, and we're gonna spray it, and then we're gonna put parchment paper, and then spray it so that it won't stick. And then we're going to go ahead and pour the batter. Not all of it, you really want about this much. You don't want it to be too thick so that it can actually cook well. You pretty much pour it in there. Do that for right now. Spread it out. Again, you want to make sure that it's not too thick, but it's also not too thin, but just perfect enough. And then you just want to shake it around, make sure that it has an even, this is glass, but pretty much just, so it's all there. Then we get, now a lot of people will use sesame seeds. That's fine. This one, I got it from a Latin market, ajonjolí. And you can see that it is sesame-like, but there's some dark little pieces. And also, the smell is definitely a little bit different. So then you go ahead and just grab sort of a pinch, and then, you know, you let it fall. And you also want to be a little bit more higher, so like that it all goes evenly. Because if you get too close, then, you know, you'll see like little clumps. Kind of like that chef. I don't remember his name, but he's like, oops, that went outside. But yeah, there you go. And there we go. We got quesadilla salvadoreña vegana. So we are gonna have to wait this to put it out there and just let it set for like 20 minutes. I don't know why. I just have seen my mama do it, everybody else do it. 20 minutes, we just leave it out to stay, and then we put it in the oven. I don't know why, but that's how we do it. So I'm gonna keep that tradition. So the temperature, we put it at 400 degrees, and it could be anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes. So again, it all depends, you know, you keep moving it around. So after 10 minutes, one side, move it around to the next side. Every 10 minutes, just go ahead and keep moving it so like that it gets even all around. Now, a lot of times this will probably turn out not as dark as the original quesadillas. So what I do is I also tend to put it in a higher part of the oven so like that it can get that brownness from the top, or as much as it can get. So, and you know when it's done, when you get a fork or a toothpick, you know, and you poke it in the middle, and if you see that it comes out clean, it's perfectly done, it's done, and it's ready to eat. And yeah, that's how you do it. All right, so it's time to cut into the quesadilla. So pretty much you can cut it into however many squares, 2 inches, 3 inches, however you prefer them. So usually for me, I do like the end parts. So I usually kind of cut those off first. But then if you want it just even. And then from there, we go ahead and then do our cuts. Hear that crunch. Go ahead and turn it over. Ooh, I can't wait to taste these because the smell of it is so good. It's so good. Imagine you taking this to your friends and them not knowing that it's vegan, and you tell them afterwards and they're like, what? That's vegan? Huh. There you go. Now to taste it. Moist, cheesy, sweet. Again, depending on how sweet you want it, but this is perfect. You can eat this with a cafecito. For those of you that don't know, cafecito means coffee. Oh my goodness. Amazing. So hopefully you guys enjoy this recipe. I'm very happy to share this with everybody, and yeah, enjoy.
All right, Norma, so thanks for joining us and showing us how to make these sweet quesadillas.
I know.
They were amazing.
Awesome. Yeah,
They were
I'm so happy
delicious.
you liked them. Good. I mean, it's quite a deal to make them, but the result of it is like amazing. It's sweet. It's
almost like a cake.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you took a cheesecake and
And
made it into a cake.
But also like a cornbread, I think.
Yeah.
A mixture of the two.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's really delicious.
Yay! Glad you liked it.
So leave me a comment below and let me know if you've ever had Salvadorian quesadillas and what you thought of this recipe. And as always, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as I post new videos every week, and join the Fit From Food notification squad by ringing that bell next to the subscribe button. And remember to keep living Fit From Food. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.